'cause I'm here now and I'm staying. Claws out, this the fight that I've been craving. I know there's something inside of me, but it's been masked by fear and anxiety. But no more, I'ma break out of the chains quietly. I'm waking up, this ain't enough. All of my dreams were starting to rust, but I believe that I can adjust. Positive thoughts, I'm starting to trust. Nothing's deserved unless you work. Something of worth requires an urge. I have been hurt by those at their worst, but that gave me will, some power, a surge. And they know that I won't surrender, so they fear me as a contender. When I fight, they always remember, yeah. I will be known, I won't let go. I will not stop, I will be great.
Edition of Overtime Arkansas, and I'm glad to be along with you here. It's been a while since we got a chance to do a little bit of football stuff. It's been uh, volleyball, and I don't know if you got a chance to check out the 3A volleyball tournament, but we were glad to be there. We want to thank the host over there at Valley Springs for doing a great job and helping us be a part. And just really, just the hospitality that they extended to us was second to none, really. And I say that everybody, most everybody that we go to does a great job of that. So we do appreciate everybody. Really, I've never had a chance to just say, hey, thank you to all the folks that we've ever sat at a volleyball tournament or a basketball tournament. We love doing those that, and I'll tell you right now, um, we got football playoffs coming up, and let me just say this: if you would like to see the Arkansas Sports Network come to you for the playoffs, let us know. There's definitely some things that need to happen. There's a little bit more of logistics involved when it comes to playoffs. So if you want ASN to come to your playoff games, let us know. We'd love to be there. We really like to be doing football into December. So just let us know, and let's see if we can make it happen. But man, we had a big night of football once again here in the state of Arkansas, and Friday night football it's just fun. I mean, really, when it gets down to it, and this is the fun time of the season. Teams are fighting for their playoff lives, and right now you've got some teams that are definitely doing that. We'll talk about those throughout. Right now, the only caller that we have is Josh Jones. Well, no, that's not true. We got Jared Huffman as well. We'll have him on, but Josh Jones, Coach Josh Jones of Lamar, and then Jared Huffman. He's going to come and give us a little bit of a update on Hector and Mountainburg. And so anyway, Hector ran off with that one that tonight, and so anyway, man, what a great night! So let's go to our main scoreboard here, if you will, Bill. Got tons of highlights for you, by the way, tons of highlights for you. If you want to stay in here with us, and because if you want to see what happened around the state of Arkansas, we've got it tonight. Boonville wins 45-6. We got highlights of that one. Bentonville West over Fort Smith Southside. We expected that one to be a good ball game, and that's exactly what it was. Desark loses to EPC 30-16. Sets up a big week in that conference over there next week. There's going to be some playoff implications all over that next week. Parkview over Hot Springs Lakeside 42-7. Valley View beats Nettleton 43-26. That was a ball game for a while. Greenwood, I'll tell you what, them Greenwood Bulldogs, you want to talk about a team that can make a claim as the number one team in the state. Greenwood's one of those teams, 58-33 over Pulaski Academy. Hot Springs, we saw Hot Springs. They were a part of our game of the week against Parkview. Parkview ran off with that game that night. 35-18 is the score at Camden Fairview. Big time win for the Hot Springs Trojans. Bigelow comes away with a 22-15 victory over Conway Christian. They pretty much wrap up the 2A1 conference there with that victory. And then Malvern wins 35-21 over Nashville. That score is not quite indicative of how close that ball game actually was. We got highlights of that one as well. Jamal Clark Sr. says Parkview number one. Man, I'll tell you right now, Jamal, you're not far off on that one. You're not far off at all. If you will, right now, hit that share button and let everybody know that you're watching Overtime Arkansas right here on the Arkansas Sports Network. We appreciate you joining us right here. And man, I'm seeing these numbers go up, and every week Bill has to talk me off the ledge saying we're going to do this again. And Bill's doing a great job back there at Pea Ridge producing this thing. Believe it or not, I'm in Atkins, Bill's in Pea Ridge producing this thing. Let's see here. We got some people tagging some folks in it right now. So let's go ahead and let's go to a quick break. And when we come back, we'll bring in Josh Jones of Lamar as they pick up a huge victory against Clinton. And we'll talk to him. Also, Jared Huffman as well. And we got some comments, got a lot of people. Ashley Holloway, EPC, Jeremy, you'll go Billies. My bad.
So hot, you're gonna think my prices look like a mirage.
We're still
Wrong.
here.
The prices on these trucks are the lowest prices ever. My trucks look different. Drink plenty of water and wipe your eyes. You're not gonna believe these prices. Go to D3 Auto Sales on Facebook right now.
Everyone tells you to think about the future, but we know there's growth in the journey. At ATU, we value this moment because here, nature becomes your classroom. So breathe it in. You've got this. Right here, right where you are. Focus on the now, because our focus is on your success.
There comes a time in all of our lives when we need the help of legal services. Well, let Leah Jacobs at Heirloom Legal at 425 North Church Street in Atkins be your go-to when you are needing assistance. If you're needing a will or a trust, maybe you're helping an elder parent with Medicaid issues, or planning on opening a brand new business, maybe you have another legal need. Jacobs can help you plan your next step. That's Heirloom Legal, helping families build and protect their legacy through estate, elder, and business planning. Call 501-819-2553, and walk-ins are welcome.
We want to thank Heirloom Legal, D3 Auto Sales, Arkansas Tech University, Tyson Valley Distribution Center of Russellville for being a part of what we're doing here. And also thank Coach Josh Jones for being a part as well. Josh, thanks for calling in once again. Your Lamar Warriors just seem to keep doing what they can do to stay in this conference race. And really, you guys got yourself in a position to be right there at the top when you got CAC coming to town next week.
That's right. We've got to go there, but yeah, it'll be for the conference championship. It's a big one. Tonight we really had our hands full with Clinton. They're a really good ball team. They laid the wood to us the first half. I think we only had 60 yards of offense, but the defense kept us in the game. We caused 5 turnovers. They fumbled the ball 5 times that we got. And so the defense kept us in the game. Second half, we found a way to score. Caleb Green broke loose a 60-yard rush to open up the second half. And then on a 4th and 1, we did a quarterback sneak and had a big pile. And somehow or another, he broke out of that, ran it 35 for a touchdown. Gavin Edwards with a huge catch. We ran a post route and just a diving 35-yard catch in the end zone. For one score, and then Caleb, with 1 minute left in the game, down by 2 points, we snuck it and got in, and defense was able to hold them for the victory. It was a big one. I tell you what, it was exciting, and it looked really bleak for a long time, especially on the offensive side. And like the kids do so many times, they found a way to win.
It seems like your Lamar Warriors just do that. Y'all just kind of figure out a way. And you guys were down 21-12 late in that ball game, and then all of a sudden, we're sitting here watching multiple games, and then, man, you just figure out a way. What is it about you? What is it about your team that you guys just really, when it comes down to it, you refuse to lose?
Yeah, something about these kids. We've worked with them all the way through, and they go into every game believing they're going to win. And so if they get down, they just keep fighting, and they're going to fight right to the final whistle. There's been several games this year that we were down at one point in the game and just found a way to claw back into it and just find a way.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what you guys are doing, no doubt about that, man. So tell us a little bit about what you know about CAC. I mean, I think that they kind of they're just kind of you kind of know what they are. They've got the D1 quarterback. They've got the receivers. They're still a fairly young team even at that. They're loaded though in that on that offense.
Yeah, they have at least one more Division One player than we have. So that's one. Uh, yeah, he's a good one. I tell you what, he doesn't make very many mistakes. Puts the ball right where it needs to be. So in time to his receivers, and he's got a lot of receivers that do a really good job catching it. They score a lot of points, but they do give up a lot of points. So we got to hope that our offense can match them. And if you look statistically, we're the third best defense in the state of Arkansas in 4A.
Yeah.
As far as points scored. And so, hey, we're going to lean on those defensive guys. I don't know. You can correct me, but I don't think anybody's held Clinton to 21 this year. They're a high scoring offense.
Mm-hmm. They really are.
We're gonna count. We're gonna count on the defense to do their job, and hopefully we can get it going on offense.
Yeah. Tell us what you did to prepare for that Widener kid.
Well, I don't know if you can. He's so good, and they're huge. I mean, we went out for the coin flip, and somebody could have took a picture, and it would have been a meme. Looked like Pee-wee kids out there against grown men. I mean, they were 6'6", and we were 5'5" out there flipping the coin.
Right.
But they're big, strong kids, and that Widener, he scored 3 touchdowns for them. He had 2 on the ground, and he had a pick six. An amazing play on a pick six. Just
right.
We were just throwing it quick, and he undercut it and took it in. But I don't think you can. I don't think you can prepare for him. You just got to do the best you can on defense and just try to slow him down. And I think we did make him fumble 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I will say this. I know that Grayson Wilson gets a lot of attention because he's a D1 guy, box out. The Wimberley kid has a lot of attention too. But I don't know that Widener's not the best player in the conference this year.
He looked like the best player to me tonight.
He's big and he's fast. He actually reminds me a lot of the kid from Booneville, Trent Goff. He does. There's some similarities there.
Well, Trent's his dad. I played with Trent back in the day.
Yes, Dax. Yes.
He was a little younger than me, but Dax Goff.
Yes.
But the Widener kid, he was so good on defense tonight. We just stopped running to that side of the field. He cut the field in half.
Yeah.
He was that good.
Well, Coach, I'd talk to you longer, but we got a lot to get to here, and it's already late.
Get to them. if you can figure out our conference, I have to you.
2 years in a row, man.
I can't figure it out.
2 years in a row. It's the same
there's
thing.
There's a really, really good chance that somebody's going to finish second in the conference, will be conference runner-up, and might not make the playoffs.
Right. I mean, that's how it went last year as well. I mean, you guys went right down to the very end, and I know that Pottsville last year was sitting in a really good position to be the number 2 seed, and all the dominoes fell, and they ended up being the 4 seed, having to go to Malvern in the first round of the playoffs. So, somebody's going to probably leave next week disappointed.
That's it. Someone told me that CAC can either win the conference or miss the playoffs.
Wow.
I don't know if that's true or not.
Right.
But
well,
we can either be the 1, 2, or 5. I think.
Well, it's a testament. It's really what you want when you're drawing conferences together. That's what you want, and that's what you got in the 4A4 for sure.
Well, the one that stings us the most is we lost to Box Out at Box Out. Last play of the game got stopped at the 1 yard or 1 inch line, according to the people that run the game.
Yeah. Well, hey, I'm here so I don't get fined, right?
That's right.
All right. Well, hey, Coach, thanks for joining us here on Overtime Arkansas. We appreciate you.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Coach Josh Jones, man, he's always an interesting character, and I say it a lot, and I'm going to say it now. I hope he's watching. He's one of the very best coaches in the state of Arkansas, and I kid you not. Speaking of that, I'm going to go ahead and announce this right now. We will be adding to our awards. Last year we came with the MVP award, and We are going to add to those awards this year. We will add the Coach of the Year award. We are going to add the Blue Collar Player of the Year award, and we are going to add the Newcomer of the Year award to our arsenal. We'll be putting those things out very shortly. Trophies on the way, so we're excited about that. And man, I'm telling you, there's some great coaches across the state of Arkansas that we want to recognize. And Coach Josh Jones get right there in that mix. I promise you that. Let's go to a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to have Alan Russell on the phone with us. He's going to talk about the Camden Fairview Hot Springs game. Stay tuned with us. You're watching Overtime Arkansas on the Arkansas Sports Network. Yeah, that's cool, man. You think you'll have enough service?
I got home about 2 a.m.
All right. Well, welcome back here to Overtime Arkansas. Brad Caldwell, along with Alan Russell and Bill Harshaw back in the studio. We appreciate you joining us here on the show, Alan. And you were at Camden Fairview tonight for a much anticipated matchup with the Hot Springs Trojans. Tell us how that one went tonight.
Absolutely. Made the drive down, stopped in over there at Ryson, ran right into their homecoming that was going on. So that was pretty cool. We headed on over to Camden, and we saw a pretty good ball game. I don't think the score is sometimes the scoreboard's a little deceiving. There was some turnovers there at the end that kind of spread it out for Hot Springs. Hot Springs got a squad, man. I scratched my head and thinking how Parkview done them the way they did them.
Parkview's that good, brother. I'm telling you, I witnessed that one firsthand. They're that good. So I'm telling you, Parkview may be one of the best teams to come around in a while in the state of Arkansas, and I know that's there's still a lot to be said. And I mean, really, there's some other teams that could lay claim to that top spot, but they're good. But let's talk a little bit about this Hot Springs Camden Fairview. We don't want to get too wrapped up into Parkview. Who won tonight?
It was 35-18 was the final, but going into the fourth, it was a lot closer than that. It was a couple turnovers. Number 6, I can't remember his name, got an interception across the middle. They were going to Haygood. Talked to Coach Lance Stone after the game a little bit, and he had a couple kids out. He didn't make any excuses. Just they had their start running. A couple of their star running backs was out tonight, and a lot of their offense fell on Haygood. And they went to him and went to him and went to him, and Hot Springs set on a route, boom, intercepted and took it to the house. And that, to me, that was the whole complexion of the game there. It was, I think that made it 28-18. Then Camden Fairview got the ball back, driving, and they fumbled. And Hot Springs went on to put the nail in the coffin after that.
Well, I'll tell you what. Hot Springs is good, man. I mean, they're sitting there with an opportunity to finish number 2 in the 5A South. They've got a really good squad. Contreras is a guy that is a great quarterback, I think. I mean, I really think the kid can play. I mean, again, watched him against Parkview, and probably not it wasn't his best film, obviously, but it wasn't because of him. I mean, kid can spin it. He can throw it a little bit. They've got some guys out there on the outside. Coach Brad said, type athletes on the outside. I mean, look the part. Very good.
I guess they got a kid. They got, of course, everybody knows about Brockton, and they got Washington. They're just stacked at the wide receiver, and that quarterback, Contreras, he's a Swiss Army knife. He punts, he quarterback. I think he does. He does a little bit of everything. Hot Springs, man. They got 80 players for him to be, to get that much responsibility. Says a lot of kids.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, man, anything else that you noticed just out of the blue tonight that you saw. To be honest with you, we've been working on this so much we hadn't even had a chance to really uh, to look at everything, other than scores that have come back in.
Yes, sir. It was a shocker that England did what they did tonight at Hazen, or excuse me, Carlisle, and then Beard again with Hazen. Almost like you look at a full moon. Is it going to be one of them nights, to where one of these teams is going to slip up and get beat, and then you look up, you think, well, you think that's odd, and then you look, and Salem's trailing it still 6-0 at that time. Right. Like, whoa, what's going on here? So a lot of strange football tonight, at least in the first half. Those teams, I figure what happened with England, or excuse me, Carlisle and Hayes are probably looking ahead at each other a little bit, Brad.
I think you're right. And let's go ahead and talk about that right now. Big week next week for us, as we've got the 2A scoreboard on the screen right now. Coming Thursday night, we're going to be at Mineral Springs, or actually at Murfreesboro for the Mineral Springs Murfreesboro game. And then Friday night, we're going to be at Hazen and Carlisle at one site. You and me are going to be at Walnut Ridge and Hoxie, and we're going to be doing a double feature there that night. So that is going to be a big night for us here on the Arkansas Sports Network.
It's going to be a huge night. I mean, we're going to have all that going on. I mean, big things happening here, like you announced a while ago. Some of the few awards we're going to, put in the fold here. I mean, just a lot of great things happening here at ASN, man. And we're growing as the fastest growing site in Arkansas. That's not just me saying that, Brad. That's a fact.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is. It definitely is. But anyway, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and cut out. I got to get Jared Huffman on here. He's got some information about the Hector Wildcats. And so, anyway, with that being said, thanks for calling, and we'll talk to you soon, okay?
Absolutely. Congratulations. I just want to end it. Congratulations to my March Tree Indians. Got a big win tonight.
And that conference, man, that conference over there is brutal.
It sets the stage for a clash next week over at EPC. But we'll see you, Brad.
All right, we'll see you later. That's Alan Russell, and he's with us here on the Arkansas Sports Network. And man, just doing some things. So yeah, we're going to go to a break. When we come back, we've got Jared Huffman. He's going to talk to us a little bit about what Hector did out at Mountainburg. And I'll tell you right now, we got to get we got to get some sort of line in here. Maybe, I don't know. I almost could possibly throw out a number, and maybe next week we'll talk about opening up a line. That way you can just call in and tell us about what happened at your ball game. So anyway, Jared Huffman going to give us a call here in the break, and back in just a moment.
It's so hot, you're going to think my prices look like a mirage. Wrong. The prices on these trucks are the lowest prices ever. My trucks look different. Drink plenty of water and wipe your eyes. You're not going to believe these prices. Go to D3 Auto Sales on Facebook right now.
Everyone tells you to think about the future, but we know there's growth in the journey. At ATU, we value this moment because here, nature becomes your classroom. So breathe it in. You've got this. Right here, right where you are. Focus on the now, because our focus is on your success.
There comes a time in all of our lives when we need the help of legal services. Well, let Leah Jacobs at Heirloom Legal at 425 North Church Street in Atkins be your go-to when you are needing assistance. If you're needing a will or a trust, maybe you're helping an elder parent with Medicaid issues, or planning on opening a brand new business, maybe you have another legal need. Jacobs can help you plan your next step. That's Heirloom Legal, helping families build and protect their legacy through estate, elder, and business planning. Call 501-819-2553, and walk-ins are welcome.
We're back here on Overtime Arkansas. Brad Caldwell, along with Bill Harshaw, and then we've got Jared Huffman on the line here. Man, it's good to have you, Jared. This is the first time we've had you on here on OTA tonight, and you got some information about the Hector Wildcats as they picked up a huge victory over the Mountainburg Dragons.
Yeah, Hector
playoff contention, playoff seeding on the line tonight for the 3 and 4 seed out of our conference. Probably one of the most physical football games that I've seen this year. It was pad stopping, a lot of aggressive hits, stuff like that all night. Hector played with a type of physicality that we've been waiting to see for a while now.
Yeah. So Hector, has been a team that's been kind of on the cusp of the top 10 all year long. Played a good Mark Tree team right off the bat this year and fell just short of that in that ball game. There's been a couple games that they've been right there, but just couldn't get over the top. Bigelow and Conway Christian, both good games. But Hector is a team that, I think somebody's going to have their hands full as probably going to be the third seed out of the 2A1.
Yeah, we've like I said, we've been there. We lost, had the lead late in the fourth quarter against Mark Tree, which is a great football team. Ended up Mark Tree ended up winning by 7. Go to Conway Christian, have the lead late in the fourth quarter again, end up losing by a touchdown, and then go toe to toe at Bigelow, 2 weeks ago, in another extremely physical football game. Had the lead in the third quarter, just couldn't pull it out. So we've been there to break. Tonight was probably one of the most games offensively and defensively for the Wildcats that we've had all year. Outside of probably the McCrory game, Brent Castro was an absolute dog tonight. He had 36 carries for 225 yards and broke the school record with rushing touchdowns tonight, a record that was held by his dad.
That's always good.
Yeah. Muddy conditions, wet, rainy. So the Wildcats didn't throw it very much tonight. I do know that we had one touchdown pass from Jackson Taylor to Landon Barter. But Jackson Taylor quarterback ran 10 times for 4 yards. Lucas Baker ran it 5 times for 78 yards and a touchdown. And like I said, Landon Barter, he ended up with 3 receptions for 31 yards and 1 touchdown. Defensively, like I said, it was physical. The Newport brothers, Lane and Drew Newport, cornerback and defensive end, played physical football all night. They had three tackles back to back that really set the tone for the game. Peter Waite, who leads Class 2A in tackles, heard his name all night long. Kid was in the backfield, getting downhill, meeting kids in gaps. The defensive line set the line of scrimmage. Offensive line was pushing the line of scrimmage about 3 yards deep on just about every carry. So it was great to see the physicality that we've been waiting for.
Man, well, sounds like a great night for the Hector Wildcats as they moved on and big victory up at Mountainburg. Man, it's not a very short drive from Hector to Mountainburg. So
no, it's a little bit of a trip, and
Yep.
to see the kids respond and not let that really affect them too much was a positive thing to see as well.
As a Mountainburg Dragon alum, I can say that I never thought I would see the day that Hector and Mountainburg would be in the same conference. But not only are they the same conference, but they have been in the same conference for years now. I mean, this is actually a fairly good rivalry across the state of Arkansas. Really, Hector and Mountainburg, they go back.
Yeah, it goes back to the early 2000s. Honestly, back when Coach Harrell was there at Mountainburg, and Coach Russ was at Hector instead of Pottsville. So
yeah, that's right. That's how long ago it's been. I remember Mountainburg actually came to Hector and won a playoff game, if I'm not mistaken.
7-6.
Yep.
That was like 2003 or 2004. Hector was the 1 seed. I believe Mountainburg was the 5 seed in their conference and came in and surprised the entire state,
Yeah.
honestly. So yeah, ever since then, it's been a good rivalry that is always played with extreme physicality.
Yeah.
Both teams are big, physical, play aggressively, and and it was good to come out with a win, especially in the fashion that we did. The final score was 54-15.
Wow.
Um, so which locked up the 3 seed for Hector. They will travel to Palestine Wheatley next week in a non-conference game, um, and then get ready for the playoffs. We will travel to the 2 seed out of the 3, I believe, which is going to be the loser of Mineral Springs and Murfreesboro.
Okay. All right. Well,
So
that's gonna. Well, you need to be watching on Thursday night because you're gonna find out.
we will be.
Yeah, you're gonna find
Promise
out who
you, we
that.
will be.
You're gonna find out who that's gonna be. Well, anyway, thanks a lot for joining us, man. We're gonna move on. We got lots of highlights to get to here throughout. So, anyway,
Yeah, appreciate it,
yeah,
brother.
appreciate you coming on, man.
All right, man. You guys have a good night.
All right. That's Jared Huffman talking about the Hector Wildcats here. And, well, Bill, we have got tons of highlights to get to. So let's go ahead and get to those right now. As we were able to sit down and really get to highlights throughout the state of Arkansas. And, man, we've got a bunch of them tonight. So let's go ahead. Let's start off with Malvern there at the top. And you see that. Malvern Schools YouTube, credit to them, and you're going to see a lot of that number 2 right there. He did his thing tonight, just really running over the Nashville defense. Now, with that being said, this was a 35-21 score. But with that also being said, this game went down to the very wire, and I guess I missed the final touchdown that Malvern had. So it was 28-21. I turned it off. It ended up being 35-21. Jalen Dupree done his thing. Over 300 yards rushing tonight. And he broke Madre Hill's record at career rushing record there at Malvern. That cannot be said enough. And let me see here. Hoxie Mustangs versus Walnut Ridge at Hoxie next Friday night for the conference championship. And number 1 seed. You guys going to talk about that big game? TJ Marlin, we're going to do more than talk about that big game, sir. We're going to be at that big game um, on Friday night. We're going to be live streaming that. We're going to be doing Overtime Arkansas from there. So anyway, we're looking forward to that. We'll touch on that as we go. But anyway, you see Jalen Dupree doing his thing. I know that at least one of our crew says if Jalen Dupree doesn't win the MVP award, then there's something wrong with the MVP award. And, you know, we'll see. Jalen Dupree has been a man amongst boys this year. Rushed for about 2,700, I think, last year. I don't have his total numbers right now in front of me, but I feel like he's right around 17, 1800 right now and still playoff games to go. And Bishop Allen, you see this throw, he steps up. That actually was the play of the game and ended up basically sealing the deal there for that one. So anyway, it was a great game by Malvern, and the Malvern Leopards ended up winning this ball game 35-21 over number 8 Nashville. And moving on, as they will play Arkadelphia next week for a conference championship. There's conference championships all across the state of Arkansas that's going to be decided next week. Hoxie and Walnut Ridge is one of them. We're looking forward to being there. Also at Hazen and Carlisle, we're looking forward to being there. And then, of course, Mineral Springs and Murfreesboro, we're also looking forward to being there. Let's go ahead and go to DeWitt real quick. DeWitt EAB Sports Network there, the DeWitt Dragons, and they take on the McGee Owls. And Bill, if you can, throw me a score of that game real quick, if you can, in the chat. Um, gotcha. DeWitt pulls off the victory. Do they not? No, no. Did I miss that? McGee and DeWitt taking on each other anyway. With that said, look at that. They've got a great live stream over there too. DeWitt has been a team that has been the number 2 team in the conference now for quite a while. Lost to Warren. That really is their only blemish on the record. They've beaten all comers, Crossit and Monticello, And anyway, they took on McGee tonight, and I think Bill's giving me an update right here. 49-38 DeWitt. So here's the thing about DeWitt. DeWitt coached by Tommy Cody. And Tommy, I'm very familiar with Tommy. He actually, from the town that I live in, he coached here at Atkins and did a phenomenal job here at Atkins. And one of the things that Tommy Cody can do is coach offense. And that DeWitt team has got some offense, and they are very, very good offensively. I tell you what, I'm telling you, this is a team, DeWitt. They're sitting at number 6 for us right now. They're a team that you got to watch out for in the playoffs. And I'm looking for at these matchups here that they're going to have. And we may have to have a talk about we may just have to have a show or something, between the time that either Saturday or Sunday or Monday or something where we can just talk about playoff matchups throughout the state of Arkansas. Um, but with that said, DeWitt moves on with a big victory there at home. And I've got these standings pulled up here. Let me take a look real quick at this 4A8. 4A8 is a very, very good conference this year. We've talked about that ad nauseum many times this year about how deep that conference is. And McGee going to come in. They're 3-4 in the conference. They've got the Hamburg Lions right there with them, and so they're right there. Crosset Eagles at 5-2, Monticello at 5-2, and then you got DeWitt at 6-1, and Warren at 7-0, 9-0. So anyway, look at that, popping off a run there, long run touchdown there. Congratulations. Malvern versus Arkadelphia next Friday night, kickoff at 1900. That's right. It's going to be a great one. Last year we were scheduled to go to that Malvern Arkadelphia game, and storms ran into it. It didn't look good, and then I think they moved that game to Saturday morning, and that conference championship was decided on Saturday morning. We got a chance to watch that. Uh, we're going to have our hands full this week, or we'd probably be right there again this year. But anyway, let's go ahead and move on in our highlights here if we can. Um, in fact, let's see here. We got Rivercrest here. We got Lamar. We've already showed Lamar highlights with Josh. Let's go ahead and go to Rivercrest, and then let's go to our 4A scoreboard after that. So you got Rivercrest, you got Truman. Rivercrest kind of sitting out there quietly. Rivercrest at one point was our number one team in the 4A, and they kind of dropped off a little bit, lost to Mills, which there's definitely no shame in losing Mills. They're number 2 overall right now in our 5A, and we had there was a 49-14 final in this one. But Rivercrest is always a team over there in Northeast Arkansas that they're going to be in it, and I think that we're going to be in it again this year. Uh, get a chance sometime. Hopefully, I'll get a chance to sit down and look at the playoff draws and just kind of see how everything turns out. But it looks like they're 6-0 in the conference, 7-2 overall. Blytheville dropped one tonight. They fall to 5-1 in the conference. Still got a chance at the conference championship though, with a victory over Rivercrest. And well, I tell you what, that Truman Field looks good. They got a good facility over there at Truman. But anyway, um, so let's move on to the 4A scoreboard if we can. Right here on the 4A scoreboard, I've got so many screens here, it's just ridiculous. We got Harding Academy 45-7 over Riverview. And, for Harding Academy has been one of the quietest uh, number one teams that you'll ever see. Malvern beat Nashville tonight. Um, I think that's last week's scoreboard there, Bill, on the 4A. So let's go to he's picking it up. He's going to get it here real quick. Bill is as quick a changer as you can see. There you go, right there. I mean, boom. Hey, Bill, let's say, hey, Bill, can you do this? He's like, yep, I can do it. Told somebody there at the volleyball tournament, we had this graphic where the ball would bounce to change the score. And I said, if Bill could make Santa Claus give you a present to change the score, he could do it. And if he could figure it out, he could do it. So I'm just saying, he's the man when it comes to this graphic stuff. Anyway, let's go to yeah, Harding Academy beats Heber Springs tonight. Heber Springs, Coach Van Pascal over there has done a great job. Harding Academy, I don't know the situation tonight because I just hadn't had a chance to follow it. But Harding Academy's been playing halftime a lot, and so I don't know if that was the case tonight or not. Malvern 35-21 over Nashville. Again, we went over those highlights. Elkins was up 48 nothing at the half on Gentry. Let me before I start lying to you, let me go to uh, this real quick. 4A1. Uh, Gentry is well, they're 5-4, so they're a winning team, 3-3 in the conference. But I think earlier in the year they were kind of up toward the top. And anyway, Elkins is just the class of the 4A1, no doubt about it. I know that there's been some Warren fans that have been saying, "Hey, we deserve to be above Elkins," and I'll just tell you, um, Warren and Elkins are to me Malvern and Harding Academy. They're all neck and neck to me when it comes down to it. I mean, we have these discussions a lot about these teams, and when you talk about rankings and how you rank teams, you have to base it off how last week went. And Elkins has really not done. It's hard to drop a team when they score 73. It's hard to drop a team when they score 54 and win 54 nothing. And I know Warren is out there and they're saying, well, we're number 4. We need to be moving up. Well, nobody's lost in front of you. Harding Academy hasn't lost Malvern. I mean, Rivercrest is in the same boat. DeWitt's in the same boat. Top 6 has been the same now for quite a while. 7, 8, 9, and 10 has been a little bit more interchangeable. But Arkadelphia won tonight big at Fordyce, 47-21, and they're moving into that talk as well. And tell you right now, they got a chance to kind of shuffle things around with Malvern coming to town next week. Monticello wins 35-7 over Star City. We've kept Monticello in the top 10 now for several weeks. Monticello really the only big blemish they have, I say big, it's not, they've lost to DeWitt and they've lost to Warren. That's the only two they've lost to. The Ozark Hillbillies won 42-19 tonight. So Ozark's right there at 10. It looks like the top 10 is going to stay pretty close to the same for the 4A. All right, let's see what you got here, Bill. 47-21 Arkadelphia. Thank you. Um, we've got Rivercrest, Lamar. We've done Lamar. Let's do Valley View real quick. Valley View Blazers still they keep rolling. The only loss that they actually have is to Harding Academy, and you see, thank you to the Blazer News Network for their contribution and a great looking live stream over there. I tell you what, you can appreciate good looking live streams when some of them are good, some of them are not. But you're seeing a lot more of those throughout the state. Of course, for people like us who do that live stream stuff, uh, it's good and it's bad. Crossit wins over Dumas 17-14 tonight. That's another good win for Crossit. Valley View stays out there. They're the number one team right now in the 5A East. The 5A East, though, is kind of one of those conferences. Can somebody upset one of those teams out of there? A lot of times the East doesn't perform quite as well. I know Valley View's trying to change that, and they won a big one over Nettleton tonight. Nettleton was a team that had played well coming into this ball game, and this one had some implications on it as well. Let me get to that real quick. Valley View has beaten Batesville Southside now and then of course now Nettleton. And so Southside fall, they're 5-1 in the conference. Only loss is to Valley View. Nettleton is there, and then you got Wynn, coached by Clay Toddy. He's out there and he's doing a pretty good job over there, considering all the things that they have went through over there at Wynn, including the tornado, losing players, losing a coach, all that. Clay Toddy's done a good job. He's a great coach over there. Them and Batesville are tied at 3-3 in the conference, so that's going to be an interesting one as we come down to it. But looks like Valley View has locked the conference up by virtue of their victory tonight over the Nettleton Raiders. So congratulations to Valley View, the Blazers. I know that a lot of people know them for their baseball and their softball and their volleyball, but here they are now. They got an 8-1 team moving into the last week of the regular season. So let's go to the 5A scoreboard real quick. Parkview beats Hot Springs Lakeside tonight, 42-7. Mills with a big victory over Morrilton, 39-7. Shallow Christian bounces back with a victory, 49 nothing. I'm gonna tell you, I wouldn't want to cross those Shallow Christian Saints now after that loss. Robinson takes on Whitehall, beats them 41-19. Valley View 43-26 over Nettleton. Hot Springs 35, Camden Fairview 18, and Batesville Southside. And I shouldn't have said Batesville Southside. I'll say Southside. They beat Batesville 42-10. I know they hate that over there at Southside. They are not fans of being called Batesville Southside. So I apologize to the Southerners over there. You guys won a big victory over Batesville. Let's hope not. All right, let's see. What do we got left? We got Greenwood. Greenwood, Pottsville. Let's go to Greenwood. Boonville, I see that one as well. Okay, so one of the reasons I wanted this Greenwood is that number one, Kane Archer went off tonight against Pulaski Academy, and that the no punting and all of that, really, I think it actually went against Pulaski Academy tonight. It caused the momentum to go in Greenwood's favor, and Greenwood picked up a big victory. I believe it's 58-33 over Pulaski Academy tonight. This was a rematch of the state championship game. Last year, Greenwood beat Pulaski Academy in the regular season, but Greenwood turned around and or Pulaski Academy turned around and beat Greenwood in the state finals. So, you know, Greenwood got the conference, but PA got the state championship. But I want to show you this play that's going to come up here in just a moment. Kane Archer, just a sophomore, this kid, I mean, first time I've got a chance to really watch him tonight, he's as smooth as it goes, and this is it right here. Watch this. He's flushed out of the pocket. He's sprinting to his right. He's not jogging, sprinting. Watch this throw. Boom. Unbelievable. Unbelievable throw right there. And you just that I mean, even as a guy that played uh, flag football, and it's nowhere near what that this guy can do. But that is a hard throw, and this guy's just dropping dimes. And he's got 2 more years after this one in the state of Arkansas. And I tell you what, Greenwood is just loaded, and they just continue to roll. I tell you what, there's a video to be made about the Greenwood dynasty over there at Greenwood. It's unreal. Let's go to the 6A scoreboard if we can while we got that going for us. 6A scoreboard. We've got the Greenwood Pulaski Academy score at 58-33. Little Rock Christian 55-6 over Greenbrier tonight. Um, that that matchup between Little Rock Christian and Greenbrier, you're talking about Walker White, Kane Archer. There doesn't get it just don't get any better than that. We'll definitely have to keep our eye on that one. Benton is playing very good football right now. 56-31 was the score there. Benton picks up the victory. Marion 61-22 over Sylvan Hills. El Dorado with a 22-21 victory over Catholic tonight. That's a big one there for the Wildcats. And Searcy playing pretty well right now. Searcy is 56-27 over Jacksonville. Let's move on to the 7A scoreboard while we can. 7A scoreboard looks like this. We've had Conway as the number one team in the state all year long, 49-6 over Jonesboro. Can somebody get me a Conway Parkview matchup? Bryant 52-21 over North Little Rock. Conway Bryant next week. Are you kidding me? Y'all, we want to talk about some ball. There's going to be some ball next week. It's going to be phenomenal. Fayetteville 35-7 over Rogers Heritage. Fayetteville just continues to do their thing. They're unbelievable as well. Bentonville West 24-21 over Southside. That was a great game there. Bentonville over Springdale 51-10, and Cabot beats Fort Smith Northside 31-7. Let's go to our highlights here. We've got Boonville and Pottsville left. Is that correct? Okay, so let's go to the Boonville Bearcats. Boonville Bearcats, they've got a guy named Dax Goff. If you haven't heard of Dax Goff, well, you probably haven't been watching the Arkansas Sports Network. He was our player of the week this week. Last week, he had 280 yards and 4 touchdowns in a win over Charleston. Charleston Tigers team that's playing much, much better this year. And, well, I said this year, but late in the year. We got to see them against Elkins. Elkins throttled them, but they're playing a lot better. After that, um, Charleston went to Ozark and played a decent game in that one, and then went to Nashville and I think it was a one score game against Nashville. So this Boonville team, they played a very good Charleston team last week and beat them, and a lot of it has to do with Goff. Goff is just a kid that runs the ball so hard, and people aren't used to him now. The Ray kid that went out against Mansfield, um, that is a loss for them. And down at toward the end of the playoffs, that could be the difference in maybe winning it all. I don't know. Prescott's going to have something to say about that. That's for sure, no matter what. But I tell you what, Lavaca just really weren't. They just weren't up to the task tonight. Really, when it comes down to it. Of course, in that area, Boonville. I don't know if you paid attention, but Boonville, they are like I believe the number 66 rated program in the history of the United States of America right now, according to um, I believe SB Live, if I'm not mistaken. So anyway, but Lavaca played all right tonight, but was unable to come up with a victory there. And if you want to, let's go ahead and go to the 3A scoreboard there. We got Prescott was idle tonight. Boonville 45-6 over Lavaca. Salem beats Perryville 16-6 tonight. Perryville was 6-2 coming into this ball game. I don't know a lot about Perryville. Hoxie beat Osceola tonight 35-14. Harmony Grove of Washita County beats Lake Village tonight 55-6. Glen Rose 56-12. I'm telling you, man, that Glen Rose team, very, very good. Walnut Ridge, we didn't have a final, but we have Walnut Ridge at 45-6. And if you haven't heard already, we are going to be at Hoxie and Walnut Ridge. Myself, Alan Russell, and Nate Sparks will be there next week, and we'll be doing Overtime Arkansas live from there. Bismarck 53-8 over Two Rivers. Junction City beats Horatio 62-21, and Charleston just fell one spot after that loss to Boonville 28-14 over West Fork. And watch out for the Charleston Tigers. They're going to be for real in these upcoming playoffs. Let's go ahead and go to the Pottsville highlights real quick. Like the only thing that we haven't have we done we've already done to a scoreboard. We can go back and do it again though. Pottsville Apaches beat the Dover Pirates tonight. It was pretty much all Pottsville tonight. Led 28-0 at the half. Cruised on to a 35-7 victory after the mercy rule, and Pottsville was a team right now that was right there on the cusp of being in our top 10. Had they beaten CAC, they lost by 1 point. They were inside the 5 yard line. When the time ran out on them, they would have probably moved into our top 10 in the Arkansas Sports Network poll. I know we had a lot of fun with that one. Some people loved us because they didn't make it in. They thought they deserved it. Pottsville then dropped 3 in a row after that. And again, Coach Josh Jones talked about how good that team or that conference was. A lot of people look at that conference and say, well, it may not be that good. Maybe it isn't. Maybe it isn't. But I'm telling you, there's some players in the 4A4, and I think it is decent. It's a decent conference. It's not a bad conference. I mean, and everybody is pretty even. And I'll tell you, you draw CAC, just like he was talking about Clinton, Zane Wilder, Widener. I should say Zane had 400 yards and 7 touchdowns. Was our D3 Auto Sales Player of the Week just 2 weeks ago. I mean, that kid is a phenomenal ball player, and like Coach Jones said, probably the best player in the conference, and they may not even make the playoffs. I mean, it's just one of those things that this conference is so even. You've got Marcus Wimberly committed to the Razorbacks, plays at Bauxite. You've got Wilson playing at CAC. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the state of Arkansas. Definitely in the possibilities of that D3 Auto Sales MVP award. You've got Zane Widener the same way. Um, there are some guys that are just good players. Landon Mahan is a good player for um, the Pottsville Apaches. He's the quarterback for them. breaks off, and in these highlights, I think he had a long, long run there. So, it's just one of those things that, man, got a lot of good ball players here in this conference, and it's a little bit underrated. Last year, they ended up being, a decent playoff team or playoff foes there. I mean, Lamar hosted Malvern last year, and it wasn't a blowout. Pottsville went to Malvern last year, and that game was 28-14, and Pottsville had the ball and was driving. And so, it's not like that those guys are just getting hammered and blown out. So, just when you just want to let you know, that that conference is good, and it's sure going to be fun to watch it. I'm sure next week OTA we're going to have to dig through the playoff scenarios and try to figure out what's going to happen there. And so we're looking forward to that. I'll probably have to look into that this week. Um, but anyway, we're looking forward to just talking football next week. It's going to be fun, and it's going to be a lot of fun to be at those locations that we're going to be at. And man, it's going to be a great week on the Arkansas Sports Network. And those of you that are over there in the Walnut Ridge, Hoxie area, we're going to do Williams Baptist first college basketball game, both men's and women's against Champion Christian, our first ever college basketball game on ASN. So I mean, there's all kinds of things. Harmony Grove over Lakeside 55-6. Yes, sir, Mr. Jones. We got that one. Um, anyway, so Bill, if you want to queue up scoreboards one more time, we'll wrap up with the scoreboards tonight. Again, thank you guys for joining us here on OTA. It's been a great time tonight. Lots of stuff to go through. We got the 4A top 10 right here, as you can see, and I went through the scores. I'm not going to go through them again. My voice is tired from the volleyball tournament, and so we're just going to try to keep the score and the talking to a minimum. Let's go to the 5A board. See that 5A board there. Parkview just keeps doing what they do. Robinson, playing up there and Robinson Mills. Um, there's one more team, Pine Bluff, involved in a lot of scenarios there between those three. Let's go to the 6A board real quick. Greenwood over Pulaski Academy. That's the win of the night. Marion, 61-22 over Sylvan Hills. Marion, after winning against West Memphis, they've really acquitted themselves of being really good. Benton, Benton's playing ball right now. They're playing as good as anybody. You got Razorback commitment, Braylon Russell doing doing his thing. 7A board for us. Conway is, untouched, but boy, I can't. I don't know. I'm gonna have to probably go back and watch it when I get a chance to next weekend. There's not gonna be a lot of downtime, but I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna probably go back and watch that Conway and Bryant game on live stream once it's done. And again, Fayetteville, probably not enough talk about the Fayetteville Bulldogs, Purple Dogs, and what they do. So anyway, so we started the 4A, so let's go to the 3A board real quick. That 3A board there, Boonville 45-6. They're really unstoppable. We've got Glen Rose doing their thing, Junction City, putting up high scores. Walnut Ridge is final, and it was 40. Is that 45-6 final? Okay, 45-6 final on that one. Bismarck has bounced back after losing to Glen Rose, playing pretty well. I like those Bismarck Lions, and I like them right there at number 8. Let's go to the 2A. Odd things happening in 2A. Carlisle and Hazen both kind of got a game given to them that they probably shouldn't have necessarily, but I think like you said, probably looking ahead, as Alan Russell said earlier, probably looking ahead to the next game, which is for the conference title. Mineral Springs just continues to roll. McCrory is a final at 56-20. So there's a definite dynamic there. Desart falls tonight. McCrory and Desert play each other next week, and then you've got Ross County who lost to Mark Tree tonight. Is that right? It seems something's off on that. Let me check that real quick. Am I wrong, Bill? I could be. Anyway, with those three teams, Cross County um, beats Desark last week, which ended up being a huge victory for them. So they're still in the playoff hunt by virtue of that victory. And you're right, Bill. Correct. 22-16 on that score there. I don't know why it struck me funny. It just did. Um, but anyway, with that said, Cross County's still in it. So Cross County lost to McCrory, beat Desark, and so now you have this dynamic that if Desark was to beat McCrory and Cross County beats Earl, then you've got a three-way tie for the 2A2, I believe. If I'm not mistaken. I believe it is 2A2. Um, and Cross County's right there. That conference in the 2A is so tough. I mean, you're talking about five legitimate teams, and then you got Earl over there. Um, Earl is a team that last year made the playoffs and was a hindrance. And they've got a SEC player over there, and Joseph McVeigh. I mean, they are they're good. They're just in a tough conference. And so anyway, with that said, they're they're not I don't think that they're in any kind of scenario now that would make them into the playoffs at 4 losses, but they could have a hand in, keeping Cross County out if they wanted to. But Des Arc really kinda on that cusp because if I'm not mistaken, McCrory and Cross County went to Earl beat Clarendon 26-20 tonight. Um, Cross County lost to McCrory in overtime, if I'm not mistaken, 18-12. They beat Desert by 16, so they got all 13 playoff points. So if it come down to a head-to-head matchup between Desert and McCrory, well, a three-way tie between Desert and McCrory, I think possibly in Cross County, I think possibly Desert will get left out, and that'd be crazy because Desert's a good enough team to make playoffs in 2A, no doubt about that. It's just that conference is so tough. I mean, one of the deepest conferences I've ever seen in 2A, and nobody's even talking about EPC right now. 30-16, they are quietly the number 4 team in our poll right now. They have, they have so many weapons over there. Um, it's really crazy, and so I tell you what, it's going to be a fun end of the season. And we've got a lot of good games for you here on the Arkansas Sports Network, and I'm going to wrap things up because I'm tired. But let me remind you one more time. We have Mineral Springs in Murfreesboro, and I got to back up off this camera. I'm trying to help myself stay awake. But we got Mineral Springs and Murfreesboro on Thursday night. Conference title implications on that one. Then on Friday night, we got a double feature. I'll work all that out as far as what channels they're supposed to be on. One will be on the main ASN channel. One will be on the ASN High School channel, and we'll do YouTubes on both. And anyway, we actually have a ASN HS YouTube page that we'll go to as well. So anyway, we'll have those on YouTube and Facebook. We'll get that worked out. But Walnut Ridge and Hoxie, one site, Hazen and Carlisle, the other site. I just don't think that you're going to find much better football than what we put out there. And then, like I said, we also have Williams Baptist College, um, and Heritage Christian, I believe, is the team that they'll be playing. So, anyway, it's going to be a lot of fun this week. You want to stay tuned. We've still got D3 Auto Sales MVP. We've got awards that we're going to actually show you. I'll have the awards out there, sponsored by Heirloom Legals, Tyson, and we got D3 Auto Sales, obviously. And my mind is just going blank right now because I'm just so sleepy. But anyway, with that said, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. It's going to be a good time. here. Make sure you look for the D3 Auto Sales Player of the Week. We're going to start cutting lists down, getting awards out there, and getting things going. It is fun. Dennis Gaines was another name that I thought about for EPC. So anyway, Bill says shut up, so I'm going. So guys, thank you for joining us. Bradley Weather says there's going to be Mark Tree and EPC. We'll have somebody from ASN there. At that game. So I mean, it's going to be a lot of fun. And next week we'll have all kinds of people out ready to go. So I'm going to wrap it up here. Thank you for joining us here. I'm going to sleep. I'm tired. It's been a long week. We'll see you later.